Welcome to Spiritual Vacancy, the space where we stop running from the void and start filling it. I'm Brooke Ann, I'm a professional psychic medium, and in each episode we dive deep into the practices, stories, and insights that turn spiritual hunger into spiritual wholeness. If you've been feeling like something is missing, you're in the right place. Let's fill the gap together, and your journey starts now. Hey, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever y'all are listening in at today. Today I have a special guest. Her name is April. She is a tarot reader. She also makes intention candles and she's Wicca. We're going to talk about her journey into that as well. Welcome, April. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So where are you actually located? What state are you in?
I'm in New York.
Oh, okay.
I'm in central New York.
Are you originally from New York or have you traveled?
My family, I was born and raised in Westchester County.
Okay.
At the border of Greenwich, Connecticut. And then I just like when I went to college, I just never went back. And, I lived in Queens, in Brooklyn, and downtown Manhattan. And I had a long stint in the Bronx for 10 years. And now I'm here. I just decided I needed to get out. So
good for you. How long have you been where you're at right now?
For 3 years.
Okay.
But I've been in central New York now for 6 years. Something like that, 5 or 6 years.
I've actually never been up there, but I will one day. I've driven through New York, but I haven't actually stopped. But I will.
Yeah.
I'll come see you.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, if you, I live in a very, very small town. And so if you love that, small town feel, it's amazing.
I've heard it's beautiful because anytime anybody says New York, they always just automatically think the city. And so many people are like, I'm not from the city. They're like, there's so much more beauty in New York than just the city. Yes. So I get that. I get what you're saying. So for you, you're a professional tarot reader, correct? Mm-hmm. So how did that journey kind of start for you?
It's interesting. And I think this is the reason why I wanted to share this a little bit, because I wasn't born into a religious family. My mother could see the dead. And she always swore that we had a portal in our house, like between her office and the bathroom. She always would see people going in and out of there. And my father was raised Catholic, and he was raised with the priests, the brothers, because he was in foster care. But anyways, so there was never like a religious push in my house. In fact, my father didn't believe in anything that had to do with like ghosts or paranormal. No, this was never a conversation. He just didn't believe in it. So it's interesting. But it's also a blessing for me because I wasn't baptized into anything either.
Yeah.
So I always had I think I really found my like spirituality when I was in college. And I joined like a gospel choir, and I really started to follow like Christianity at the time. And I still to this day believe in God. But I started to have my faith really at that time. And it's because I think because I lost both of my parents in my 20s. So I needed to hang on to something. And I always say that God got me through places that no one could have gotten me through. And so I stayed a Christian, and I really didn't dabble in anything because I was afraid. I said, oh no, like, what if, God will be upset with me, or, like, what if cause it's always like dug into your head, right? That like, you can't do both.
Right.
It's a sin to do that.
Mhm.
So anyways, I want to say 2000 and 10 maybe. I'm trying to think of when I met my ex-wife. Yeah, I think it was about 2010. I met my ex-wife and she is a Buddhist. And so I started to learn a little bit about Buddhism, and she was also Christian. So we had that in common. And then she moved to the States in 2012, say, or 13. And that's when I really started to get into my spirituality. And we used to like worship Ma Kali and Ganesh and Lakshmi, all of like the Hindu gods. And I went for a tarot reading, and it was in this like a Botanica in the Bronx, and they had all your needs, right? I don't even know how, to be honest with you, I can't remember why I went, but I did. And the guy who read my cards, he was just telling me like, do I know these Hindu gods? And he was telling me all of them. And I said, yes. And he said, well, Ganesh wants you to make an altar for him.
Oh, no.
So I said, oh, okay. So the craziest thing is that I walked into a store that sells like linens and stuff. And usually they would have like a statue of like Mary or Jesus, but they had Ganesh. I still have him back there. It's crazy. I'm like, this is nuts. So I started there really because I made an altar for him, and I would do offerings and chants and things like that. And then I'm trying to think of how like I really got into the spell work, but I was so desperate to get out of the Bronx that I think I just stumbled upon like a spell for a new home spell.
Okay.
And I think that was like I'm trying to think of, that was the first time. So I made my candle, and I tell you, no more than a week or two, maybe, I was like setting up to leave. And I had an interview. I got hired. And
wow.
My wife wasn't able to come, my ex-wife wasn't able to come with me at the time. So I had to get some place that was like local to my job. I found a place that was like a 10-minute walk. And I have a pit bull, and she allowed me to come with my 2 dogs.
Wow.
I mean, it just happened. It was insane.
Right where you're supposed to be.
I said, this is crazy. I was like, wow.
How it all lined up.
Yeah, and my ex-wife was like, I don't know about this, like, and she was like, not against it, but she didn't believe in it. She didn't really believe in it. And I used to be like, you have to believe. You have to believe that what you're putting out there, the universe is going to listen, and it's going to provide. And that's what happened. And she was like, oh my God, like that's the crazy. Yeah. So I think since then, really, I started to do spell work. I started to like just manifest the things that I wanted. And I started also doing spells for my friends and like family. And then the tarot, like I was always interested in like reading, and I was nervous because, I have ADHD, so I can't like retain everything. So I had books, I had things like that. But in I want to say like 3 or maybe 3 years ago now. Yeah, about 3 years ago. I took a course, like an actual like tarot course. And that's how I got into tarot. But it was always a desire of mine. It was always something that like I was really drawn to. And so prior to learning the tarot, I started to do the spell candles. And I would go to events and I would sell them. And I have my website. But I do a lot of work for people I know. They know to call me. It's like, hey, I'm having a problem with this person. What can I do? And I say I always do everything in the light.
Definitely.
I don't do anything to harm anyone. And the beautiful thing about witchcraft is that if you do it for the betterment of everyone, then you're not doing anything malicious.
Right.
So say you have a boss who's really terrible.
Right.
And maybe this person's like creating a lot of problems for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's your, I don't want to say that's your excuse, but that's your way in,
right. Right.
That's your way into, doing what you have to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's just the fact that I know it works. And that's why I continue, because I believe in it so much. Yeah. And I know that there's so much we don't know. Yeah. I am like enamored by like all of the information and all of the other beings and like, just learning the most that I can about tarot and trying to help people. Really, that's what my spells are for. They're really to help people get out of bad situations, or
right.
Someone's harassing you,
Oh, yeah.
And I've used plenty of those.
Oh my goodness.
And I have plenty of spell jars in my freezer, for people who bother me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bet. With them.
Yeah, you got to, you know what I mean? You got to take care of things. And that's the beauty of this. It's like, my ex-wife always reminds me, because we're like best friends too. Thank God.
You're still best friends with her now?
Still.
Oh, good. Yeah. She's like, don't you put no spell jar on me, lady.
Oh, no, she knows. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I always make fun of her. I'm like, you better tell that woman she better be nice to you.
Right.
Because I will.
You're like, I gotcha. Yeah. I love it. So I have a question though. So like when you were growing up and your mom would talk about like the portal in your house, would you ever experience any of the paranormal growing up, or would you ever see what she saw? No, it was just her talking about it and feeling it, and like you and your dad were kind of just separated from it.
I mean, I never felt, I would say like I always felt like something was watching. Like,
okay.
Like I felt I had a lot of unstillness, especially like in my bedroom at night.
Right.
And those kind of things. Like I could feel presence, but I never saw anything.
Like your mom. And I'm sorry for the loss of both your mom and your dad. And as you're kind of telling your story, it's kind of like, well, you're right on the track where you're supposed to be, because you already have like the spiritual connection with how your mom is so open to it, right? And then even though your dad's closed, was closed off to it, doesn't mean that it's not there. And then to get you to your path you are today is very spiritual. And then do you think, like, I hope this isn't too personal, but do you think the passing of your parents kind of kickstarted your spiritual journey even more into figuring out what is going on with the other side? There's more to this. There's more, because I see that a lot when you have very significant losses in your life, especially losing both your parents, it can jumpstart that. Do you feel like that was part of your journey too?
Yeah, and I think it was the part that I was desperate. I was so dark. I was so depressed, and there was nothing that could help me. And I just remember going to church and, praying a lot. I've never been a big Bible reader, and I am not a rule follower. So, but I do believe though, that was something, that it was something that drew me close.
Yeah.
And I,
And that fear too, because you kind of spoke of the fear of when you were like, is God going to be mad at me if I do this? Or, and I feel like so many people can relate to those words you said of having that doubt of, am I doing something wrong by doing this? Are they going to be mad at me? Is this bad?
yeah, I mean, you have a lot of those thoughts, and I think it all, like, I am a very stubborn person. I'm an Aries.
Oh, very
So
bold, right?
fire, right?
Yeah,
Leader.
yeah, yes, very. I love it.
And I don't care what people think. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like at some point something changed within me that I was like, whatever,
Good,
you know,
good. Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
Which is good. And it got you to where you are today by choosing that, not worrying about God or religion, that aspect of it, right? And then going to your first tarot reading, when you were like, I don't even know why I was there. I just was there. And obviously you were supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Because that led you on your path. And that domino effect is so cool where the universe is like, look, you are going to see me, and we're going to say this loud and clear to you that this is what's happening. You did this, and you're getting what you're asking for. And it just lined up for you like that, which I think is amazing, because then you probably trusted what you were getting even more, or the passion, or where you were being led to, because when it falls into place like that, it's like, you can't really you can't make that up. Like, you're like, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, and part of it, that like, I think really drew me in closer to like spirituality was I had a very bad experience in the apartment that I was living in, spiritually.
Yeah.
And it was the very first time I had ever experienced any of this. I lived with with a roommate, who I'm still friends with till today. And her family is in the Masons, and her father was like one of the high priests, or I don't know much about the Masons, but anyways, and she used to experience a lot of things in the room that she was sleeping in, and I started sleeping in that room after she left. And I remember that I was laying on the bed, and I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I was like taken over. My body was taken over. Like I couldn't move. They call it sleep paralysis, right? And I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't any of that stuff. But I could hear something around my bed, like footprints, like nails.
Oh, wow.
And whatever this was, I remember I was terrified, and I was like, don't open your eyes, don't open your eyes. And whatever this was got on top of me and held me down. And I just remember that I prayed, and I was like, God, help me, please help me. Whatever. So I start praying, and I somehow saw this being, which was almost like a demon, like it was like a demon, or I don't know. I think it was a demon. Yeah. And he said, you really do love Jesus, don't you? And he released me. And that was the last time that happened to me. Oh, wow. But after that, I was like really, like I would do Psalms, praying throughout my apartment, holy water. I had a Buddhist monk come and cleanse the house. Oh, wow. But I don't know what was going on, but whatever it wasn't happy.
But it never followed you, or it never happened again. It was just in that room, in that space. Wow, that would be terrifying. Like that feeling of being like stuck or held down or not being able to move would be paralyzing for sure. Yeah. And did that ever happen to your roommate? Did she say where she was like held down, or she just knew like something was not right?
This has happened to her before, but never in the room. And
Oh,
she would
wow.
tell
Interesting.
me
Okay.
that like she could feel presence there,
Uh-huh.
and that, you know, I a couple of times like whoever was in there would knock things over, um, like misplace. She would misplace things.
Oh, wow.
But the building I lived in was a pre-war building, so you know I don't know. There could have been many spirits, many you
Lots
know.
of souls still hanging out. Oh yeah, especially in like fighter mode or whatever it was. I mean, you know the feeling that you had, and that's all that matters, you know. So how did you, because that would be crazy. How did you get into being Wicca or Wiccan?
I think it was just that moment, that very moment that I needed to get out. And it's so funny because I always get connected to these things when I'm like desperate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really what happened. I just looked up a spell, I did my spell, and then after that, it
That,
just happened. It just
yeah.
happened. And I said, wow, I started doing them for like various things. And interestingly enough, my partner today, she was my friend. I met her at work, and I did a birthday candle for her, and it was a happiness candle. And we sat across from each other, and she lit the candle. And I told her, like, you know, I forget what the prayer, like the spell was, but I was like, you know, think of the things that make you ultimately happy. Like, envision that in your minds, like, what's going to make you happy. And she didn't share this with me, but she said she kept seeing me in
Oh.
this, right? Well, a few days later, we were together. And I always tell the story. I said, I thought I was going to die with my ex-wife. Like, I thought we were, you know what I mean? Like, that was it for me.
Right.
And then I don't know. I don't know what happens. I just, you know, there's things that I don't know.
Right.
But the more that I started to see it work, not just for me, but for other people, that's where like I just started to say, okay, well, I can do this for anything. You know,
Yeah.
I can whatever. And you know, my ex-wife also reminds me. She says, "Don't get mad, April." She's like, "You can do something about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fight spiritually. You don't need to
Uh-huh.
fight verbally."
Correct. Yep. You
You know,
sure
she
can.
always reminds me of that. She's like, "You have, you know, power. You have gifts. Use
Mm-hmm.
your gifts."
Definitely. Yeah,
So,
especially if you're like manifesting things for other people. A lot of times manifestors manifest for themselves or you know what I mean, like for us, but then you're actually doing it where, you're manifesting someone else's dreams for them with your abilities and your gifts and what you're doing, right? So if somebody were to like call you and say, like, I need a candle to help me move, right? Kind of walk me through that process. Is that all you need from them? And then you make the candle, and then because you ship too. So whoever's listening, she can do this. Do you ship everywhere in the US?
yes,
Yeah.
anywhere.
So she could ship, oh, even overseas, everywhere?
I mean, I could, like, if
I don't
something
think I
really
have
needed
anybody
it,
overseas
you
listening.
know,
So I think we're good.
if it really needed it, I would make it happen.
Right. So you do
Um,
ship, but like kind of walk through the process of like how somebody would order a candle, or does it, because a lot of times, do you help people kind of like, say somebody comes to you and is like, I don't know. I just know like this is my situation and I don't know what I want. Right? How would you go about that? Would you ask them questions, or is there like something they fill out for you or anything like that?
so usually how it happens, it's like a consult, right? Like it would be like you're going to tell me. It could happen two ways. One, it could happen through direct, like you don't know what's going on, you need help with some situation. And
Okay.
then the other part could be we could do a reading
Okay.
and something comes up, right? And it's like,
Uh,
this is nasty. Like something's happening here, and I think we need to do something about it.
Okay, do you do tarot readings with a candle combo?
Um,
Because you should.
I don't. I just go based on what I think like people will need, because I don't want to offer the service of the candle if like it's not something someone could use or need. And also my experience has been that sometimes tarot readers can take advantage of people.
Oh no, I don't mean like that, but
no, I know, no, but you know what I mean?
I was like, oh no, not like that, April.
No, but they can take advantage because people are in a very vulnerable place, right?
Sure.
And so like I remember when I used to go to like the Botanica and like get a reading, and they're like, oh, you have a curse on you and you need to do this back.
Lord.
$900, you know?
Oh God, no. I mean, like that would be kind of cool though, because I would probably sign up for that if we did like a tarot reading, and then you're like, you also get an intention candle shipped to you, you know, like in the price, and then we kind of set the intention based off your reading, right? So it could be good. There's no like precursor.
I like that idea.
Yeah, there's just no precursor to it. It's just like, you know, something that you need to manifest or work on, but you know, you kind of let them decide on what direction. So it's not like here's the curse. I know you're not like that. So that's there's
I think that's why I'm like, you know,
no. I mean, like something like that'd be kind of cool to offer. Like, I was just thinking about them, like, oh, a little package deal, you know, because you do offer tarot readings, and then those candles can be so powerful. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, somebody that's coming for a reading with you or for me or for any spiritual practitioner, there's an issue. You know, there's something that they're either grieving or they're going through, you know, times in their life. Most of the time we don't find people that are at a really perfect time in their life that need, you know, that don't need any clarity or don't need, you know, they're already kind of confused or have hurt to begin with, because that's why they are seeking us out, right? So I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful what you offer, and with the candles and then with the readings. And I love how you could, you know, eventually one day do like a little combo. Do you put crystals and things like that in your candles too, or oil?
Not necessarily. I use a lot of herbs, herbs, however people say it. And, you know, that's what I usually do. Glitter, like whatever it is, like, you know, like if you were doing the house candle, like for a new house, you want the universe to see that. So we use glitter so it stands out. And if it calls for like specific like crystals, I will, you know. Right. But not always. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, so when people call or they ask for my assistance, usually then I will say, okay, let's do, I don't know, say you want whatever. I'll see if the person, like if they're close to me, usually I say, go and get your stuff. Right. Go and get your stuff, because I just think it's a good thing if you have access to it. But I also will ship and then say, okay, we can do a consult. Like I can help you with this spell, because not everybody feels comfortable, you know, even with the provided candle, they may not feel, you know, like they can do the, like the verbal part of the spell or whatever. So I want people to feel comfortable, you know, whatever it is that they feel that they need.
Definitely. I think that's wonderful. And then like on your tarot journey, and you took the one class, did you feel like you should have taken more classes, or do you feel like that class kind of encompassed everything that you needed to learn? Or did you actually feel like it was better learning on your own or practicing on your own? Can you kind of talk about like a little bit of your tarot journey too?
So I think with that, you know how we can get really stuck on like anything spiritual, like, oh, it needs to be done this way, or it needs to be done that way. And I had to let go of that, because I'm like, I am not, again, I have ADHD. I am not going to learn every aspect of this card, right?
Right.
But I know the importance. I know the important pieces of the cards.
Right.
And I go a lot with like what I get downloaded, because sometimes I get messages downloaded. I get names or just random things, songs,
Yeah.
So I really try to just be in tune with like the message I'm receiving, because I could pull something and it's like, it could be this, but then I start to look at the story, right, that the cards are giving you. And that's how I do it. I just kind of go with what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I think I've been pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think so. So you're kind of getting like intuitive, mediumship, psychic information while you're doing the tarot, right? Which I think is awesome that you're kind of combining both, right? And then what's your favorite tarot card? Like if you were to pick any card in the deck, what would be your favorite?
I would say the Magician.
Why? Why is that your favorite? Because you're like the manifester. That's you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're literally the magician, April.
It's like
come true.
If the universe tells you that you have access or that you can do anything,
perfect. Yeah.
You get this card and it's like, oh wow, like, okay, the universe is giving me this, telling me it's at your fingertips. What are you going to do with it? You can do anything.
Right.
And I would also say that I like the Fool.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Because it's newness. It's this kind of like
innocence.
No care. Yeah. Like you're just kind of experiencing the world as it is in this like place of like innocence where like you don't think good or bad about anything. You're just going.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one too. Yeah, but you embody the magician card. That's why when you said that, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. You're good. Like that is you. I love it.
Whenever I pull that for someone else, I'm like, oh man, like you can do anything. Like this is like
right. You're like, this is me. They made that card for you, I think, with the work that you do. I think it's beautiful. If you could give one piece of advice for anybody listening that is on their, spiritual awakening, maybe they're confused about their path or anything like that, what would it be?
The best advice I can give is do what your heart tells you. Sometimes we, like when people are like recently learning about like Wicca and they're like, do you do this? Do you make your wands? No. I don't. I use my hands. My hands are my power, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to do what feels right to you. We can read all the books we want, but that's just people's opinions about things, right? Mm-hmm. And some people will say, oh, well, don't worship this deity because it's like, cultural appropriation or whatever. You don't know what your family line is. You don't know what your bloodline is. You have no idea like where this gift comes from.
Right.
And just because you're in a Caucasian person's body today, doesn't mean that you weren't in Mexico some other time. Mm-hmm. So I think you just have to really don't listen to everybody. Don't listen to everybody. You can join these groups and they're like, like a lot of like the spell groups and stuff. And like somebody will be asking for a spell for this or that. And then, people give you this, like, don't do that, like all this, like unwanted opinions.
That's exactly what they are.
Like nobody cares. Like, it's just like, that's why we say we're spiritual and not religious, because we don't follow the rules, right? We create the rules.
Yes. You do what's right in your heart. I always say, take what resonates, leave the rest, and that's with everything in life. It doesn't mean that it's a wrong opinion with someone else. It's just not your opinion, and that's okay. We can all differ and respect each other's opinions, but it doesn't mean that you have to accept it, And I love everything you said. And I thank you for being here today and letting
Thank you again
me.
for having me.
No, I loved hearing your story. Now, one last thing, where can everybody find you? What is your website? What is your socials? Where can anybody book a reading with you?
So I have a website. It's called blackspiderapothecary.com.
Okay. Okay.
And that has like all my candles and like all the things that I offer. I also have a TikTok page, which is Finding the Fool.
Okay.
And yeah, but all of it has like my information. So like if somebody needed to like send me an email or something like that, it's all on.
I will post it on in the comments as well on the YouTube channel and on my Facebook page of your website and where they could find you as well. So even if you guys listening in missed it, you know where to find it when the episode comes out. So I cannot thank you enough, April, for allowing me to interview you today and chat with you about your story. I appreciate you so much. And thank you. And we hope you all have a beautiful day. And we will see you all next time. And namaste.